The road to WrestleMania 42 rolled through the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas, with another explosive episode of Raw on Netflix. World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk was on hand after driving Roman Reigns through the announce table last week, as were Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar as they prepared for their Titanic clash in Las Vegas. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky reunited. Finn Balor faced JD McDonough in a battle between former Judgment Day teammates. And the hottest feuds and rivalries wrote their latest chapters. Find out what else went down on the penultimate Raw before WrestleMania with this recap, complete with ratings and analysis from each segment. Hey there, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and Streamy.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting the presence, maybe, of the Phenom, Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him back with us Thursday night for TXN Sports World. Monday Night Raw, live last night from the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. And the opening segment of this show, far and away, the clear talking point of last night's show. MF?
No, go.
Well,
just go ahead, Floyo. Just start the show.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I thought you might have had something you wanted to get off your chest for a moment, but all right.
Nope, it's yours.
In addition to our Monday Night Raw and NXT reviews tonight, we are going to unveil the matches. What WrestleMania matches will be on Saturday night? What matches will be on Sunday night? And what matches will even be as part of that free first hour on ESPN2 and ESPN respectively? You're not going to believe what you're going to get for free on ESPN, especially on the Sunday side. I'm going to tell you that right now. But let's talk about this, though. A Strictly Business CM Punk made his way to the ring to open the show, immediately grabbing the microphone and taking a seat in the middle of the ring, ready to address the WWE Universe. After waxing poetic about Harley Race and what the old-timers would say about wrestling today, Punk revealed that Roman Reigns was not in Houston. If Roman Reigns hates me, then I'm right where I need to be because I won't trade my authenticity for approval. Keep chanting, maybe he'll show up. He taunted the fans as they chanted for the OTC. Punk proceeded to tell the WWE Universe why he hates Roman Reigns. He called him safe, boring, and plastic, while labeling himself dangerous and touting that no one ever knows what he's going to say. In his latest pipe bomb promo, the best in the world took shots at Roman Reigns, The Rock, Vince McMahon, and they, in reference to TKO, who he said can't control him. Punk ended by promising Pat McAfee a receipt after the ESPN personality's attack on Cody Rhodes last Friday on SmackDown, demanding lower ticket prices and standing tall with the fans to close things out. Punk said it like this, and I quote, "Be careful what you wish for when you ask me for a pipe bomb, because this is what you get. Great television and raw emotion. This felt authentic, and that is something Punk brings to the table that no one else in WWE can replicate, no matter how much they try. It is going to be incredibly difficult for Roman Reigns to hit back next week on the Go Home show in Sacramento and have the same impact, no matter what he brings up." Michael Bullock and I had our Raw chat last night, and I'm going to tell you this right now. He and I ate this thing up word for word, syllable by syllable. We were on the edge of our seats. I will tell you that right now. We were on the edge of our seats during this thing. And some of the things that Punk said, MF, you and I, we've always been infamous for our legendary Gorilla and Jesse woes at the same time. Well, let's just say Bullock and I did that quite a few times during this promo last night. So, and I'm going to say what Bullock said. And what Bullock said, I actually do agree with him on it, and I am not going to argue what he said. He said, and I quote, "This was the segment of the night," and he even went as far as to say, to this point, this was the segment of the year. I'm inclined to agree. And about the lower ticket prices, thanks to that segment last night, WWE is actually considering it. They are considering it, but not until summertime. Better late than never, as the old saying goes. So hopefully come summertime, these asinine ticket prices will actually be lowered. And hopefully back to where they were before. Fingers crossed on that. But incredible promo, great way to start the show. And without a doubt, I mean, yes, there were some other newsworthy things on this show last night, but honestly, this far and away was the talking point of last night's show. A lot of backlash for the McAfee stuff. In the first 16 hours that full segment was posted on YouTube, I saw 76,000 dislikes. I'm sure that number's got to be eons higher now. It's got to be at least six figures now. 6 figures of worth of dislikes. You got to imagine. A lot of negativity surrounding it. The most famous wrestling content creator here on YouTube, without a doubt, went on the biggest rant, the most explosive rant he ever went on. He went bat bleep crazy to PG it. So he also went on to say that CM Punk did a better job of selling the Cody Rhodes Randy Orton match than Pat McAfee did on Friday night. Well, but this promo by Punk, I mean, this ranks right up there with the Pipe Bomb, June 27th of 2011, Monday Night Raw. That will forever be his greatest. But this one is a damn sure second. If he didn't cut that promo in 11, I would have called this the greatest promo of his career. But I will say this was definitely the best promo since his epic return a couple years ago. I don't know what else there is to say. MF, I'll throw it to you by simply saying, Pipe Bomb.
It was and then some. And a lot of people loved it. It was exactly what it needed it to be. Exactly the right person to say it too. Remember how on SmackDown, if I said right message, wrong messenger? This one was exactly the one you wanted. CM Punk dropping the nuke and going after everything and everyone. Now, at first, I didn't understand where the direction was going, and I'll openly admit it. I kind of was wondering, was this a heel-like promo by CM Punk? Because the fans were booing him. They're chanting the OTC. So I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a mixed bag, 50-50. He started to win the fans over the minute he went after TKO. Because not only is he saying it, but a lot of wrestlers behind the scenes is getting sick and tired of TKO meddling in the business of WWE. And basically, I actually said last night on a quote, this is the same issue that we had when Tony Khan tried to stick his nose in AEW business. And I also reiterated that to multiple people that the business side should stay the business side, let the creative and let the guys who run the business, the WWE guys, let them do what they do. Now, I totally wholeheartedly agree about the money thing, about the money, because let's be realistic, Anthony. We're paying $73 to go to SmackDown. Just so all you people know what's going on. We're heading to SmackDown. We're going when they come to the Amp. This upcoming summer. It was $73. It was $73. Just to let you fine folks know. Now,
For me,
here's the thing.
for MF, and for Bullock.
Now, here's the thing. $50 was actually the ticket itself. $50. The other 23 is from the licensing fee, going through Ticketmaster, and the whole 9 yards. That is the middleman, and that's the secondary market that makes the prices so ridiculous. If it's just the flat 50, people would not be complaining. But because there is little extra to that charge, that's where the problem lies. And that's not a TKO thing. That's a Ticketmaster thing. That's a StubHub thing. That's whatever company you use for tickets. That's where the problem lies, folks. So for them to say lower the prices, I agree with it. Lower the prices. But that's where the line draws. Now, I thought it was interesting that he went after McAfee because Pat turned around saying how everything is wrong about professional wrestling and was lumping Cody Rhodes as it, not Punk. But Punk decided, hey, you're saying shit about professional wrestling, I got to respond that way. And that's exactly what he did. I don't mind it. Now, McAfee turned around and basically today on his show, basically calling Punk, well, I can't repeat what he said on air. I can't repeat what he said on his show today because this is a PG show. But trust me, Punk, you talk about receipt. Pat McAfee gave you a reply saying about the ticket thing and about him, about you personally. We'll leave it at that. So this was segment of the year. There's no doubt about it. And as a professional wrestling fan, we all ate it up because this is exactly what we needed. And for CM Punk and Roman Reigns to get a main event spot at WrestleMania, that's exactly what you needed. So how is this going to look now? It's going to be the $1 million question. Because for me, Roman should not say anything. Do not. Because you're not going to be able to top Punk's promo. If I'm Roman, it's an eye for an eye. I would get after Punk. Let them fight. Let the brawl happen. Let the chaos run amok. And then we'll go into that. And then we'll let the chips fall where they may when it gets to Mania. But that's exactly what I would be doing right about now. This was beyond amazing. Like I said, personal best of Punk. You can even say it's better than the original Pipe Bomb. And I know everybody was saying it. That's exactly what we wanted. That's exactly what we needed. And Punk spending no expense. But it now makes me wonder who else is now going to get involved in that match. Because you talked about The Rock. You don't think Rock might show up? You talked about the family. You know the Usos is going to show up. I don't know if that pipe bomb is going to be enough for CM Punk to remain the world heavyweight champion coming out of WrestleMania, I should say. So, Anthony, it's yours.
All right, let's get into the action here. We started off with Austin Theory squaring off against LA Knight. Austin Theory wins the match in roughly an even 10 minutes. It was iShow Speed inadvertently, quote unquote, being the difference maker. LA Knight had it up to here. After the match was over, the Usos came out, all hell broke loose, and then LA Knight called out Adam Pearce and said, Adam, at WrestleMania, I want me and the Usos versus Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and ISHO Speed in a 6-man tag team match. And of course, in the immortal words of our general manager, what did he say? Well, he had 2 words for that. Well, he had 3 words for that. It is official. WrestleMania, LA Knight, and the Usos versus Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and ISHO Speed 6-man tag team match. MF, your thoughts on all that?
Fine match. This is about a 3-star bout. Is it me, or do I feel like ISHO Speed is a pawn for something bigger at WrestleMania?
Could be.
You know, there is a guy who's now medically cleared who is a member of the Vision.
Bron Breakker.
Do you think? Yes. Do you have Braun take ISHO Speed out, and then it's him who's the 3rd guy on the squad? Because that is the way to get him back in. Because then Bron Breakker is going to cut through everybody. And then you set up the big thing at later in the night, or the next night if you want to, between Gunther and Seth. To me, this is apparent. ISHO Speed doesn't want anything to do with this. He doesn't want nothing to do with this. He was out there for one reason only. He was there to try to go to Danhausen to lift the curse. And it actually made matters worse because, again, like the whole thing was he wanted Danhausen to lift the curse because of what happened, because LA Knight put him right through a monitor and beat him up, on his show on Twitch. Millions of people saw that. A lot of plug going into WrestleMania for that. And then he was there like, look, I just want to find Danhausen because I just want to lift this curse because it's been such a negative reaction for me. I'm losing everything right now, and I need that curse lifted. Now, look, Adam Pearce told him, just go home. If you want to leave, you got the chance to go out the door. But the thing was that Logan Paul and Austin Theory, they were the ones to make the move, to say, no, you're with us, hang with us, you're fine. And he's like, dude, I just want to go home. I just want to lift this curse and be out of here. This is not for me. This is not for me. Unfortunately, Logan Paul did not let him go. And I know what this is. Logan Paul is using him as a pawn. He's using ISHO Speed for all the trouble that's been happening. But if you think about it, ISHO Speed's been more differential to them than any other person. Right now, you need all the allies you can get, even though you're making enemies left and right. You're pissed off the Usos. You're pissed off LA Knight. You're in a bad situation. But I'm telling you right now, if there's one guy who can come in, it's going to be Bron Breakker. And I'm going to tell you right now, Anthony, if Braun shows up and decides, I'm going to take out Speed and I'm going to interject myself in that fight, I don't care who the hell you are. The Vision is winning that match. Absolutely. Because Bron Breakker is going to break LA Knight, and there's going to be no eating going down because your boys in the Usos are going to get speared out of their effing boots at WrestleMania. Because Bron Breakker is that badass who's a little twisted up in the freaking head right now because of what happened to him at the Royal Rumble. And trust me, if anybody thinks that freaking Rollins is safe, you're not. So that's my theory on all of it going into Mania. So If Breakker shows up, I'm telling you, it's going to be a horrific night for everybody at Allegiant. 3 stars. Florio, it's yours.
3 stars. Now, I'm going to be honest here. Okay. For the love of all that is good, let this issue between LA Knight, the Usos, and the Vision write its last chapter at WrestleMania and never, ever be revisited after. Enough is enough. This was all about IShowSpeed and the inevitable match announcement. Why that had to be at the expense of the night's first match and not elsewhere on the show is another question. At least the match itself at WrestleMania should be fun, as long as there is not too much for IShowSpeed to do at the expense of others in the ring. In no way, shape, or form should he control any action for any period of time based on the story they have laid out here. I'll give you the 3 stars. Next up, before the scheduled matchup between Finn Balor and JD McDonough could get started, Dominic Mysterio attacked Finn Balor from behind. Balor fought back and cleared McDonough from the ring, but Ray rocked him with the Mega Campeon. A 2-on-1 beatdown of Balor ensued, with Dominic attacking him with a steel chair. He placed the chair over his former partner's fallen body and sat on it, standing tall and pointing to the WrestleMania sign to close out the segment. If Balor needed to awaken a certain side of himself, he got the motivation he needed here with another cheap attack by his former Judgment Day partners. This was an effective segment that did not reinvent the wheel, but put heat on Dominic while giving Balor a reason to reach into his past and bring out a side of himself that we have not seen in 3 years. Effective, not overthought. And oh, by the way, later in the show, Finn Balor filmed a vignette. He teased the Demon. Allegiant, Vegas, get ready. For the first time in 3 years, Demon Finn is coming out to play. And when he comes out to play, oh, Dom. You're in trouble, baby. MF, the Demon is coming.
Yeah. And I know somewhere, one of my friends from Syracuse, New York, she knows who she is, was excited to hear that the Demon is coming. But not only her, but all my crew, you know who they are. They were all excited too, because we all know what happens when the Demon shows up. Nothing bad, nothing good happens to the opponent. If this turns into one of those type of things, oh boy. And it's Mania. It's fitting. So, yeah, nothing more to say. It's going to be a lot of fun. Florio, it's yours.
All right, MF. A pre-tape promo featuring what was supposed to be a sit-down interview with Michael Cole and the Women's Intercontinental Champion AJ Lee. Instead, it was interrupted by Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch with derogatory comments towards Michael Cole. Michael Cole wasn't having it. He's like, I'm done. AJ, good luck. So a pre-tape promo featuring AJ Lee and Becky Lynch aired, in which the AJ said that she was proud of the man, but reminded her that she knocked down doors for Becky to walk through. And she ended by reminding Becky that Becky's daughter's favorite wrestler is still AJ Lee. Oh yeah, AJ and Becky.
That one's gonna be lit. That one's gonna be lit. It's gonna be a good one. But if you know, AJ is now 2-0 against Becky Lynch. At some point, Becky needs to get the win. I think it could happen at Mania. I think AJ's losing the belt at WrestleMania, but the thing is that if she loses the title, that's probably better for AJ Lee, because it does open the door for her to go after the Women's World Championship. And that's the one belt I think everybody would love to see AJ Lee have her hands on, not this Intercontinental title. Even though we were happy that she won it, happy that she got it, but I think there's bigger fish to fry more than anything else.
Could be. Could be. All right, next matchup. A little preview of the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania. We had one half of the Tag Team Champions, Lash Legend, her partner, Nia Jax, in her corner. Lash Legend squaring off against Bayley with her partner, Lyra Valkyria, in her corner. Bayley wins the match in 8.5 minutes, but then the hell broke loose as expected. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss showed up. Still no Bella Twins, obviously, because Nikki Bella is still, rehabbing the freak ankle injury that she suffered on the March 27th SmackDown in Pittsburgh in that tag match with the Bellas against Charlotte and Alexa. Hopefully, Nikki will be ready in time and we get the 4-way as scheduled for WrestleMania for the women's tag titles. Bayley and Lash were in the midst of a fun match before the overbooking and interference dragged it down late. Of course, the interference made sense given the 4-way feud for the tag team titles, but it still hampered what was a solid matchup between a future Hall of Famer in Bayley and a woman, Lash Legend, with a ton of potential to maybe join her there one day. Women's tag team division has been one of the bright spots entering WrestleMania, and one can only hope that the Fatal 4-Way bout is not rushed. The talent has earned better, as have the titles at stake, which have traditionally gotten the short end of the proverbial stick since their introduction in 2019. So I'll give this in excess of 2.5, teetering on 2 3/4 of a star. So not much more. MF Bayley defeating Lash Legend in 8.5 minutes, and then Charlotte and Alexa get involved. Still no Bellas, but hopefully Nikki will be ready to go for Mania.
That's why I think a lot of people are wondering. They're like, wait a minute, wasn't there supposed to be a match at Mania between Io and Asuka? Well, apparently, if the Bellas cannot go, the Kabuki Warriors will be the replacement. That is what I'm hearing. That's the rumor going around, is that the Kabuki Warriors will be the replacement if the Bellas are a no-go at WrestleMania. So, as of now, they are advertised to be in. But again, if Nikki's ankle injury is bad enough that they have to pull her off the card, the Kabuki Warriors will take the spot at WrestleMania. So that's why a couple of matches are now in limbo. Obviously, it was supposed to have been Io versus Asuka, and then the Kabuki, but now that the Kabukis may be inserted at WrestleMania, that's why they're going this different direction. So we will have to wait and see how it plays out. Yes, it was about 2.5 stars. Fine match. Nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. And then another brief moment here. Oh, hold on. I keep getting all these things in my face. Okay, here we go. Seth Rollins hit the ring and spoke about Paul Heyman and the negative impact he had on the Vision, with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed both hurt and out of action. He knew Heyman would find someone to protect him. He said he then turned his attention toward the Ring General. Before he could address Gunther attacked Rollins from behind, only for Rollins to escape. The two brawled before being pulled apart by referees. As Gunther walked through the curtain and into the backstage area, Paul Heyman waited for him and said he owed him a very big thank you. Gunther said his attack on Rollins was not for the wise man, then pulled Heyman close and warned him, "You owe me so much more than a very big thank you." Could it be? What does he mean by that?
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Could it be a title? Could it be? Yeah,
Could be.
we'll see.
I came across a theory on social media. Gunther versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I heard that
Think
rumor
about it.
too. That and because it's in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and supposedly that is allegedly that is where Brock Lesnar is supposed to end his WWE career.
Career killer.
It does make some sense here. Yep, it does. It does make some sense here.
Indeed. Seth Rollins claimed he put Brock Lesnar on a silver platter for Obafemi. That is an interesting take that ties the visionary to that particular story. It will be interesting to see if that is followed up, if that's followed up on, or even revisited after WrestleMania. The vagueness of Gunther's explanation for attacking Rollins, claiming it was personal to him, was the only negative here. We got the first real tease of physicality from Rollins, a new story thread in Heyman's owed favor, and a hint at what the architect did to draw the ring general's ire. Another brief, efficient segment. 6-man tag team matchup. Well, before that, well, actually, no, not just quite yet. That was just a vignette. We'll get to that in a moment. 6-man tag team action. Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Penta teaming up with two of his challengers in that ladder match at WrestleMania, Dragon Lee and Javon Evans. They went up against El Grande Americano and Los Americanos, Bravo and Rayo. Penta, Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, they win the match, 7 minutes and 45 seconds. But wait, there was more. WWE Hall of Famer and former Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion in his own right, Rey Mysterio, comes out of nowhere, and he said, I talked to Adam Pearce, and this ladder match needs a 6th man. I'm in. So you already knew. We already knew it was going to be Penta versus Dragon Lee versus Javon Evans versus Rusev versus JD McDonough. And now, MF, we're adding Ray to the mix.
Wow, man. Yeah. It was wild. I don't even know what to even say. It was one of those type of things that was just like you know, and all of a sudden it was just, it just was very interesting to see. And yeah, I like, it was wild how this was going down. And it's Rey Mysterio being in WrestleMania is awesome. And if you look at Javon Evans, he's looking like, wait, what the hell? Like he, in one sense, it's cool, but in another sense, if you're Javon, yeah, your odds just shrunk to possibly become the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. You kind of have to feel like, wait, what the hell? So Evans' reaction to the whole thing made me feel like, oh boy, this could be more interesting to say the very least. But oh yeah, this was a shocking turn of events. The match itself is about 3 stars because these guys absolutely tore the house down. But again, this was overshadowed by the announcement of Rey Mysterio being added to this championship match. So Florio, it's yours.
I'll give it 3 stars. We'll call it what we always call a match like that. A fun little sprint. Sound about right?
That's about right. Yes.
All right. I love Rey Mysterio. I do. But there is something that I'm a little confused about. MF. WWE teased Rey Mysterio versus Gunther via Gunther's interactions with Dragon Lee, correct?
Yes.
Then threw that into disarray when it looked like Ray would not be cleared to compete, only for the Hall of Famer to return last night and put himself in the ladder match? Sounds about right. But nonetheless, this was a really fun match, as you would expect with this much talent involved. Javon Evans in particular stood out and was appropriately highlighted. And I mean, I'm excited to have Ray in the match because we know what he's capable of. He's still he's 51 years old and he's still bumping like he's friggin' 25 when he first started. When he first wowed us in WCW. And I've been a fan of his work ever since then. And I'm happy he's in the match, but it's just, this is one of those, as I always say, make it make sense. Make it make sense.
I think because the thing was, and this is just rumors, so don't quote me.
Okay.
Initially, they were trying to do Gunther versus Ray with Ray's career on the line.
Yes.
However, Ray does not want to fight Gunther. He wants Dom to be the one to end his career. That's why I think he pivoted. Okay. I think he, quote unquote, faked an injury to get out of Gunther. Now that Gunther is going after Seth, now he interjected himself into that ladder match. It's a shrewd move by Rey Mysterio to play the system, as they say, to interject himself into a shot so that down the line, Dirty Dominic Mysterio can do the deed and end Ray's career the proper way. So I think at SummerSlam, or whenever they do a match in Mexico, I think Dominic will end Ray's career, and that'll be the end of that.
Okay. So we shall see what happens, but solid 3 for the effort. Fun little sprint. So nothing more to say there. Let's move on. Then we got another round of vignettes and all that. And then from there, women's tag team action. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky squaring off against B-Fab and Michin with the WWE Women's Champion Jade Cargill in their corner. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky win the match, 7 minutes and 25 seconds. And Rhea Ripley is still out there getting the loudest pops of the night. One of the biggest stars in professional wrestling right now, and there are only a handful that are close. What does it say about Michin and B-Fab's credibility that Io Sky essentially beat them by herself? The feud between Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill still does not feel as hot as it should, given the women involved. The creative has not been there either. 2.5 stars for the effort. MF, your thoughts?
2.5 stars, agreed. Should have been better than what it was, but at the end of the day, I get why, everything has gone down. Rhea is right now, she's probably gonna either win the title or they could have Jade keep the belt so that Bianca comes back, but we don't know. Because Bianca's getting close to returning. At the end of the day, I mean, this is one of those matches that, like you said, hasn't really pushed the needle for me. So I'm not really I feel like it's a whatever for me going into that match at WrestleMania. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm with you on that, Florio. So 2.5. Let's move on.
Backstage, Liv Morgan tried to discuss Roxanne Perez's loyalties to the Judgment Day, given that Finn Balor brought her into the group. But Stephanie Vaquer, the Women's World Champion, attacked from behind and sent Liv Morgan face first into the TV. Did you see that thing break? And did you see that little explosion that came out of that thing?
Oh, yeah.
Scary. So scary that that Michael Bullock, our insider, if you will, good investigative reporting by Mr. Bullock there, because he came across a dirt sheet sometime earlier this afternoon that there is reportedly a possibility that Liv Morgan may and the words possibility were in quotes. Possibility. Liv Morgan may not be cleared in time for WrestleMania. It was previously reported that Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez entered WWE's concussion protocol after last night's Raw, following Stephanie Vaquer taking them both out backstage. During the segment, both Morgan and Perez connected head-on with each other, which left Morgan with a massive bump on her head following the collision. And I also heard that Stephanie got a little bit of heat for that. She got some heat for that.
Mm-hmm.
And she did check on both Liv and Roxanne, after it all boiled over. But MF, I'm going to say this right here and right now. Your girl, La Primera, she better be praying to those gods, man, because if Liv Morgan is ruled out of WrestleMania, she is in big, big trouble.
Yeah, she might have went a little too far. She might have went a little too far on this one. But the thing is, the storyline that's been going, Liv actually kind of got what she deserved because she talked about her mother. And you don't bring family into the mix.
It's a no-no.
The minute you bring family, it's off limits. And and she took it personal. She took it personal and the whole 9 yards. And the thing is, not only did Liv get hurt, Roxanne got hurt too. She's got a bump on her head too. She ended up with something like that. She put that little
thing on her back.
Yeah, and now she's got a bump on her head too. She's got they call it a hemoglobin. She got one of those. It's bad. It's bad. Roxanne Perez posted on her Instagram today the bump on her head, and it's a sizable one. It's a sizable. So they actually clashed heads. They clashed heads. Legit clash of heads. That led to that. So I think the whole segment itself was, oh man. So yeah, it's I think Stephanie may be in trouble. She may be in trouble, and like you said, because of the heat that she's getting right now, because I think they feel like she went a little too aggressive on this. But hopefully Liv is okay and she can go for Mania. They're in concussion protocol. But if they lose this match at WrestleMania, oh no.
Steph's going to be in big time trouble.
She's going to be in humongous trouble.
To the point where they could easily take the belt off her. They could easily.
Yeah, they could.
They could very easily.
She could get stripped of the title. She could get stripped of the title. She could be suspended. Hell,
she could be in for a burial.
Dare I say it?
She could end up getting
not
buried.
Just that. No, not just that. She could get released. I know that's a little crazy talk, and I might be and I know that's a little crazy talk, and I know that there's no way, but trust me, guys, WrestleMania is the biggest event of the year. You were one of the marquee matches. This was a marquee match. As a matter of fact, if this was correct, this was going to be the match before the main event. Supposedly, that's the rumor, that this was the co-main event of the evening. If they lose this at WrestleMania,
then what?
The repercussions are going to be massive, to say the very least. So yeah,
Steph's going to get buried.
This could be big trouble for Stephanie Vaquer. So we'll see. It's yours.
And what a shame that would be, coming off the greatest year of her career. I mean, we all agreed she was the female wrestler of the year in 2025. I mean, no woman outside of Tiffany Stratton, no other woman had a better 2025 than Stephanie Vaquer. And with how she dominated NXT in the first half of the year, and then in the second half of the year, dominated WWE, and with everything that she did with the bot and her body of work. I mean, when we after we do our NXT review, after the NXT review, as a Talking Wrestling TXN exclusive, we are going to let you know which matches will be on WrestleMania Saturday, night 1, April 18, and what matches will be on Sunday, April 19th for night 2. And it also includes 2 matches that will both be on that free first hour on ESPN2 Saturday night and ESPN Sunday night. So you're going to get all of that, and that's going to be following our NXT review. So hang tight. All right. Nothing announced. They did not announce anything that I recall. I did not see anything announced for next week's Go Home show. I got a feeling they're going to be keeping this a tight-lipped thing. We're probably going to be free swinging this going into next Monday's show, which will be live from the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California, the home of the Sacramento Kings. So we'll probably be free swinging going into that Go Home show as we kick off WrestleMania week next week. We close the show. Normally, when you have a contract signing, usually General Manager Adam Pearce is usually the moderator. Oh no, he wasn't coming alone. He brought the boss with him. That's right. He brought Papa H. Triple H. Triple H, alongside of Adam Pearce, to moderate the contract signing between Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi. Triple H and Adam Pearce hit the ring for the contract signing between Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar ahead of their WrestleMania 42 bout. Heyman introduced Lesnar before Femi hit the ring to a thunderous ovation and chants of Oba, Oba. As the ruler stepped through the ropes, Lesnar attacked and a brawl ensued, ending with both men crashing through the table. Security attempted to separate them, but both broke free and resumed the fight. The show went off the air abruptly as chaos reigned supreme. Oh, by the way, after the cameras stopped rolling, they still brawled, even after the cameras stopped rolling. That's how intense this got. I'm going to say it like this. Oba Femi is the next big star. And if he is not, at least in WWE or World Heavyweight Championship contention at this time next year, it will be a massive fumble on the company's part. The intensity here was off the charts. The fans in Houston were red hot for all of it, as brief as it may have been. At the same time, not overstaying its welcome will only help add to the less is more mentality that has helped produce tonight's best segments, sans the opening promo with CM Punk. Brock Lesnar has gone all out to help elevate Oba Femi to the point that anything other than a ruler victory at WrestleMania is going to be considered a huge disappointment. If CM Punk did not blow us away with that opening promo pipe bomb at the start of the show, I would have called this the segment of the night. But this is a very, very close second. Heck, I'll do you one better. 1A, a classic case of 1A, 1B. Simple as that. MF, as JBL and Michael Bullock always say when it comes to contract signings, they don't end well. And you knew this one was certainly not going to end well.
And they never even signed the contracts. Like they didn't even get to the contract itself. It exploded within seconds. Oba hit the ring and it was on. So yeah, this was unbelievable, man. This was as great as you could have done it. Less is more. I'm already hyped for this match at WrestleMania. Like as that, and as in you are. So there's not much more for you to add. Oba is the star of all stars. He's got the jetpack on his back, and they're going to launch him into the moon at WrestleMania. And he's already, like, I honestly believe by SummerSlam, he could be a world champion. I'm going to call it. I think by SummerSlam, he's the world champion. It's been remarkable. There's nothing more to add. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Overall thoughts on the penultimate Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania in Houston last night, MF?
Excellent show. This was an amazing Monday Night Raw. This is 8.5 out of 10. There's no arguments here. Monday Night Raw's been cooking for months now. And with guys like Oba, with Punk, with everything going on, dude, their road to WrestleMania has been unbelievable. Like they clearly have been heads and shoulders the better show heading into WrestleMania. So, I mean, yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So, Florio, 8.5, it's yours.
Imagine that. If you give CM Punk a microphone, let him out in front of an audience to fire off some live rounds, you get almost instantly renewed interest in the product. Regardless of how much of it was a work or how much was authentic frustration, CM Punk willed fans to care about this year's Showcase of the Immortals by introducing a little reality into the mix. He took aim at Roman Reigns, The Rock, Ari Emanuel, Pat McAfee, and anyone else in his path. He even won over a Houston audience that was very much pro-Roman Reigns at the start. And perhaps his greatest achievement, silenced the what chants that had plagued professional wrestling for 20 plus years. This was arguably his finest night since his comeback, a reiteration that CM Punk carries as much value as any other wrestler on the roster when it comes to drumming up genuine excitement for a pro wrestling event. His importance to this show and the build to WrestleMania is undeniable. So CM Punk was my star of the show last night. As for the show itself, this was the best show WWE has produced on this road to WrestleMania. From the Punk pipe bomb to Obafemi and Brock Lesnar tearing up the place in the closing segment, everything had a purpose and promoted a match at WrestleMania. Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio got a big boost, and the seeds for Gunther versus Brock Lesnar were planted, though not outright. The good outweighed the bad. There were future stories teased and hinted at throughout the show, and the result was the most enjoyable watch in weeks. How WWE follows up and sticks the landing with next week's go-home show will be the question. I agree with you, MF. This is an 8 to 8.5 out of 10. I'm right there with you. So yep, there's nothing more left to say except let's get into NXT. The follow-up, the fallout from a very good Stand and Deliver this past Saturday night. Returning to the WWE Performance Center, NXT followed up on an eventful night after Stand and Deliver with tonight's show. Tony D'Angelo captured the NXT Championship from Joe Hendry, while Lola Vice won the NXT Women's Championship by pinning Jacy Jayne. After winning on Saturday, Sol Ruca hoped to pick up more momentum by defeating Izzy Dame, while Tatum Paxley and Shiloh Hill teamed up to take on Blake Monroe and Jackson Drake in a mixed tag team match. How would NXT reset after multiple massive title changes? What would the landscape of NXT look like? Well, we're going to find out right now. The new NXT champion, Tony D'Angelo, was the first man to arrive for the night wearing the belt around his waist. He talked about his history in NXT that led him to this moment before naming Joe Hendry, who appeared. Wink, wink. And then we had our classic revolving door segment. All Ego, Ethan Page, and Ricky Saints both arrived to make their own claim. And then Dark State arrived, security arrived to protect the talent, but a brawl still broke out between the wrestlers into the commercial break. And during the picture-in-picture break, the locker room came out to finally restore order. General Manager Robert Stone announced that Tony D, Joe Hendry, Ethan Page, and Ricky Saints would face all four members of Dark State in an 8-man tag team match at the top of the second hour. Decent opener, but it fell under the Dark State standard that NXT had seemingly moved past in recent months. After Dion Lennox laid out Miles Bourne at Stand and Deliver, it would have made more sense for Dark State to back him up in the pursuit of the North American Championship. It made little sense that it took as many people as it did to clear this up and distracted from setting up a clear championship challenger hierarchy for the future. So, not much more to say on that. Get into our first action of the night. One-on-one matchup. It was Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca looking to continue her momentum from Saturday night. She went one-on-one with Izzy Dame of the Culling, but Izzy Dame had Sean Spears and Nico Vance in her corner. Winner of the match in 10 minutes and 35 seconds. It was Izzy Dame, but she didn't do it on her own. She had help, and that help was Zarya. Zarya, the difference maker. Decent match, but far from what these two can deliver at their best. The basic TV pace of the contest never sold that either as sold that either had this in hand before the Zarya interference. It was good to see that NXT is not moving on from Sol Ruca versus Zarya just yet, as that is still the brand's hottest angle. Hopefully a rematch will allow Zarya to pick up a needed win over the multiple-time champion and start her own true ascent up the ranks. On the other hand, this was a massive victory for Izzy Dame, no matter how tainted, and it could set up Izzy Dame as a possible first challenger to Lola Vice in the NXT Women's Championship. That would be a huge spotlight for the star of the Culling. But later in the night, Robert Stone making his mark as a who's starting to thrive as general manager of NXT. And like I said, slowly but surely, he keeps winning me over week after week, and he did it again tonight. He announced that next week and the week after, next Tuesday, April 14th, and the Tuesday after, April 21, we're going to have a 2-week special event called NXT Revenge. And as part of the second week of that show, April 21st, Sol Ruca versus Zarya in a rematch from Stand and Deliver. But it's not going to be a regular wrestling match. Oh, no. MF, it's going to be Last Woman Standing.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Dude, that's going to be exciting to say the very least. So, yeah, that's going to be a heck of a match. Last Woman Standing. You know how that goes. So, yeah, we'll see how it plays out. So, nothing more to say.
Thoughts on the match?
Yours. It was a fine match. I think we can say honestly it could be about 3 stars, to say the very least. So
that's about right. It's right around 3.25, but I'm going to bump it down to 3 because of the Zarya interference, even though it made sense in the context of the story. So,
yes,
but 3 stars for Izzy as she defeats Sol Ruca in 10:35, and yep, 2 weeks. NXT Revenge, April 21st. Sol Ruca versus Zarya, Last Woman Standing. That's going to be something. All right. Moving on. Triple threat match. Keanu Carver, Josh Briggs, Jasper Troy. Keanu Carver winning the match 13 minutes and 2 seconds. MF, all I can say is this was better than it had any right to be.
You cut it out. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. You cut it out.
I'm sorry about that. Keanu Carver, Josh Briggs, Jasper Troy, triple threat match. Keanu Carver winning the match, 13 minutes, 2 seconds. And all I can say is not only be a man fight, but also far better than it had any right to be, given the talent involved.
Agreed. Absolutely. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. You could even make an argument for 4 to 4 1/4 if you wanted to. There's no argument there. This was an excellent matchup. This was 3 guys who basically laid it on the line, knowing the time that they got, and they made it worth our while. So for me, this was incredible matchup. yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Man, this was a fun battle of big men. Even when it was not clean, they kept the pace moving. Keanu Carver and Jasper Troy's inexperience was obvious in moments, but it was also clear why NXT is pushing both men at the moment, given their size, presence, and explosive offense. Keanu Carver picks up wins in back-to-back weeks, keeping up his momentum. However, because he pinned Josh Briggs, he is likely not done with Jasper Troy. NXT should stick to the strategy of pushing Keanu Carver rather than giving Jasper Troy a win back down the line, because he could believably go after gold following this win. Tony D, Miles Bourne, watch out. While Booker T was angry with Josh Briggs' actions last week, he praised the big man for his work making the match about him. And despite saying for 2 weeks that no referee wanted to get between Carver and Troy, the referee seemed to be fine getting into the action here. So 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. I'll even go as far as to call it the sleeper fight of the night, honestly. Here's the 8-man tag team matchup here. NXT champion Tony D'Angelo teaming up with the 3 men he went up against in the main event of Stand and Deliver. Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, and the former champion Joe Hendry. They went up against all 4 members of Dark State. And the winners of the match, 15 minutes and 5 seconds. It was Ethan Page, Tony D, Joe Hendry, and Ricky Saints. Okay. Dark State is back in full force only to immediately lose. What's the point? Well, it could have been delivering a really good tag team match because this was consistently strong in the ring. It also helped solidify Ethan Page as a problem for Tony D in the future and potentially the first challenger for the NXT champion. And I'll have more on that in just a moment. But still, Dark State did not need to be fed to the top guys again like they were back in 2025 when the group still had a bright future. At this stage, a dramatic change would be needed to believe in Dark State as a credible threat to any champion. So, this is another 3.5 to 3 3/4 star match. And next week, as part of week 1 of NXT Revenge, it will indeed be Tony D in his first defense of his newly won NXT championship, defending the title against challenger and former NXT champion in his own right, All Ego, Ethan Page. That you get that next week. MF, Ethan Page, Tony D, Joe Hendry, Ricky Saints. They defeat Dark State 15:05. Wow, another good match here.
Another great match, another great battle, another great fight, another 3.5 to 4. Look, we've been saying it. You kind of were fearing that NXT was going to be a status quo, paid by numbers. No, that action has been delivering tonight, and that's exactly what we want to see. So this isn't one of those type of things we've been talking about, but yeah, they've been delivering. So yeah, another 3.5 to 4. It's yours.
Unbelievable. All right. Now, as we all know, Elio LaFleur recently won the men's speed championship, but unfortunately he suffered a serious injury. And because of the severity of the injury, he was forced to relinquish the men's speed championship. So you know what that means? We got to start a tournament. Yay, another speed tournament. Okay. Lexis King with all members of Birthright in his corner went up against a newcomer named Chaz Starboy Hall. I'm guessing he's an Evolve talent.
He is Evolve. Yep.
Yeah, I figured he was. Lexis King wins the match in 2 minutes and 6 seconds. So Lexis King advances. Even the best speed matches can only deliver so much, and this was far from the best that NXT talent can offer in this format. Clearly, NXT wanted to highlight the debuting Starboy, so Lexis bumped for him all the way to the finish where the NXT veteran prevailed. It makes sense for King to advance for the sake of Birthright's credibility, and it would not be shocking for him to even win the men's speed championship. It would have been nice, though, to see more from Starboy and NXT rather than leaving the longer showcase for Evolve tomorrow when he's going to challenge for the men's Evolve Championship. So that's a big deal for him. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow on Evolve on Tubi. Mixed tag team matchup. Women's North American champion Tatum Paxley teaming up with Shiloh Hill. They squared off against Blake Monroe and Jackson Drake. They had the tag team champions Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor swipe right in their corner. And unfortunately, I do not have a time of the fall of this match. However, Blake Monroe and Jackson Drake did pick up the win. And Blake Monroe pinned the North American champion, Tatum Paxley, in the process. So that's a pretty big deal. Last time I checked, oh, by the way, that sounds like a championship committee moment to me. So there is no question about it that Blake Monroe will get another shot at that North American championship. So I'm just trying to find the time of the fall here. 11 minutes and 10 seconds. I got 11:10.
All right.
Yep, I got 11:10 on my backup notes here. So yeah, 11:10, the time of the fall. So let's break it down. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. The dynamics of both these mixed tag teams worked wonders for a fairly predictable match, delivering the best action of the night by a solid margin. Shiloh Hill has such a weird, wild energy, and Tatum Paxley is the only one on the roster that has been able to truly match his freak. Blake Monroe and Jackson Drake may have immediate chemistry in their character work that also translated to the ring. The frat boy may have found his frat girl if NXT holds to this pairing, which I think could do wonders for them. The only way NXT was booking this match was to set up a win for the glamour, and that was the best option. NXT should keep leaning into this Monroe-Paxley pairing. And I'll tell you what, fine, another solid matchup here. I'll give this in excess of 3 to 3 1/4 stars. And I'll even go as far as to say this. I came across something on my Facebook feed the other night. I think it was some dirt sheet site or somewhere in that area. They were comparing Tatum Paxley and Shiloh Hill to Daphne and Crowbar from WCW.
Yes. I saw that, and I love it. Yes, I agree. Definitely agree.
Tatum Paxley does especially Tatum Paxley. She reminds me of a younger Daphne. I mean,
she does. She has the look. She's got the look of her.
And yeah, Shiloh Hill does kind of remind me of a little bit of Crowbar too. So,
and the thing is, this was a couple that none of us thought we wanted or needed or expected, and week after week, they're like the most entertaining people right now. I love when they're on the screen. I don't know. I like it. I actually enjoy it.
But lost in all of this, though, MF, championship committee moment for Blake Monroe.
It is, no doubt.
11-10.
It's a big win for her. It's a very good victory. Yeah, I don't know what to even say. I feel like it could be. There's a lot of ways that this can go, and yeah, I think it's been really good. So yeah, solid matchup. This is another 3-star bout, and Florio, it's yours.
All right. And then to close it out, we had the new NXT Women's Champion, Lola Vice. He talked about her journey to the NXT Women's Championship, putting MMA behind her and a humbling experience in her first year in NXT. Of course, we had the revolving door segment, Fatal Influence, interrupted to talk down about the win of Lola. JC demanded a rematch, and General Manager Robert Stone arrived to say, okay, you got your rematch next week, NXT Revenge. Fatal Influence tried to lay out Lola together, but the NXT Women's Champion sent them all out of the ring there, sent all three women packing. Ugly finish to the night. That was hardly the fault of any woman involved. They had a tight window to deliver the final promo and had to talk over a loud crowd. That was a bad spot for this segment. That would have done better earlier in the night with a few more minutes of breathing room to play to the crowd reaction. Lola delivered a fine babyface speech about earning her way to the top, and she and JC should have a good return match next week. It was entirely unnecessary, though, for Lola to lay out all of Fatal Influence on her own when this spot could have built some additional heat for the former champion ahead of a highly likely loss next week. So we will have Tony D versus Ethan Page for the NXT Championship, and Lola Vice versus JC Jane for the NXT Women's Championship. So, and by the way, I believe we're also going to get Kalani Jordan versus Jada Parker in a return match from the theater in Madison Square Garden. Callie Armstrong, former Evolve Women's Champion. She's going to be debuting in the next couple of weeks. And and that is the and that's the story. So we're just going to bypass that final segment. So not much more. MF, we admitted it. We thought it was going to be, well, I thought it was going to be a back to reality show, because it usually is after they have a banger of a pay-per-view, but I honestly cannot say. I mean, yeah, there were some parts back to reality, but it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be, honestly.
No, it wasn't. There's no doubt about it. I think it was better than anything else that we've seen up to this point. And yeah, this was 8 out of 10. Color me surprised. NXT actually delivers in the clutch. I don't think there's really much more to say here. And Anthony, it's yours.
You said 8 out of 10, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I do agree for the most part, but it's not going to come without constructive criticism, though. After a strong night of action with plenty of surprises at Stand and Deliver, NXT did not really overly deliver much in terms of intrigue in the aftermath. In particular, this show reaffirmed the same feud in the Stand and Deliver were still ongoing, building forward to NXT Revenge. This 2-week event will deliver bigger matches and moments to compensate for a fairly basic building block night from NXT. For this show alone, though, the main bright spots were Keanu Carver's victory over Briggs and Troy, and the fun dynamic of Tatum Paxley and Shiloh Hill versus Blake Monroe and Jackson Drake. I'll give you Sol Ruka and Izzy Dame, and the 8-man tag as well. Other than those things, everything else was forgettable, and they relied heavily upon the new 2-week event on the horizon. And but I will definitely give this in excess of 7.5 to 8 out of 10. So that is that. Before we wrap up here tonight, we're gonna do the TNA pay-per-view preview on Friday night as part of the Cerebral Smack Talk, because we're gonna have TNA Impact anyway. And we're also going to have SmackDown, and we will preview the Rebellion pay-per-view that goes down this Saturday, because tonight we are going to announce the official lineups for night 1 and for night 2 of WrestleMania. They were announced at 9:35 this morning as part of the Get Up show on ESPN. They brought in Joe Tess. Joe Tess made the announcement. He announced the matches, and without any further ado, in no particular order, here is your lineup. Let's start it off with night one. The first two matches of night one, you will get this. As you know, the first hour of WrestleMania Saturday will air live on ESPN2. So you're gonna get the first hour free on ESPN2. And here are the two matches you're gonna get from the Saturday portion. You will see the 6-man tag team matchup with Logan Paul and Austin Theory, the World Tag Team Champions, and IShowSpeed versus the Usos and LA Knight. That's on ESPN2. And what else is on ESPN2? You're also going to get the unsanctioned match between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. How about that? And the rest of the card for Saturday is as follows. Women's World Championship match. Stephanie Vaquer versus Liv Morgan. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. You're also going to see the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team Championship. The Irresistible Forces. Nia Jax and Lash Legend, the champions, versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and versus the Bella Twins, Brie and Nikki. And you're also going to see Seth freaking Rollins go one-on-one with the Reign General Gunther. And the main event of night one of WrestleMania 42, to the surprise of none of us, for the undisputed WWE Championship, the champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, to defend the title against his mentor, his former mentor, and legacy brethren, Randy Orton. And in Randy Orton's corner will, of course, be Pat McAfee. That's night one. Night two. And it goes as follows. For the first hour on ESPN2, you will see the 6-pack ladder match for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Penta versus Javon Evans versus Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough versus Rusev versus Rey Mysterio. And guess what else you're going to get on the mothership on ESPN? In addition to the 6-pack ladder match in that first hour, you're also going to get Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi. What? Are you kidding me? Whoa. All right now. And the remaining night 2 card is as follows. WWE Women's Championship. Jade Cargill defending against Rhea Ripley. United States Heavyweight Championship. Sami Zayn defending against Trick Williams. The Demon, Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. And the main event of night 2, again to the surprise of none of us, for the World Heavyweight Championship, champion CM Punk defending against the winner of the Men's Royal Rumble match, the original Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. MF, how do those cards sound to you?
A lot of it was no big surprises. I was stunned to hear that the non-sanction is going to be on night 1. And not only night 1, but free on ESPN. So ESPN that 2. Was the one that ESPN2. My apologies. That caught me off guard. If you look at the card for night 2, it's not strong. I mean, a lot of the matches are not so great. When you put Rhea and
Jade,
to have Rhea and Jade there, all right, to have the U.S. title match there, all right, you're going to get Balor and Dom. That should be fine. Everything is going to be built around the main event. Nobody's going to care until you get to the main event. The first hour is must-see. Then you get into a couple of matches that I don't think a lot of people is going to be too enthused about until you get to the main event. Night 1, though. Wow. That might be the better lineup going into night one. That might be the better lineup, to say the very least. You get Liv and Stephanie Boucher. You get Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. That, for me, I'm not mad. Roman and Punk deserves to be the main event of night 2. That's the main event of WrestleMania. There's no argument. I think the way they set it up, I like night 1's better than night 2's. I'll say that.
Okay. So there you have it. That is the card there. And for me, MF, I mean, WrestleMania Sunday, WrestleMania Saturday. I mean, or should I say, the first hour of WrestleMania Sunday, you're getting the ladder match and Brock and Oba on ESPN. How about that? If that doesn't entice you to go buy to get the ESPN app and get the pay-per-view, I don't know what else to tell you. But yeah, looking at it, I think night 1 definitely looks a little more better than night 2. But you know, it is what it is. So what an incredible night this is going to be. And now it's all roads lead to Vegas. So with that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We will be back with you again on Thursday night. Usual time, right, MF, for that one?
Yes.
All right. So 10:30 Thursday night. We have a light docket, though. We're going to recap the women's and men's NCAA National Championship games. 2 new champions crowned. We'll give you our thoughts on that, and we'll also preview week 3 of the UFL. That will be on Thursday. Friday night, 11 p.m. following SmackDown, head on over to MF's channel, BraceFan95, for another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, TNA Impact, Friday night SmackDown reviews. And then from there, we're also going to get into the TNA Rebellion pay-per-view. We're going to preview that event. And then 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again. WrestleMania week coming next week. And it's going to start Tuesday night with Ridiculously Raw. Monday Night Raw, the go-home show from Sacramento, and NXT. And MF and I will put our heads together, and we'll let you know how the content will work for WrestleMania week. Biggest week of the year for content creators like us and everybody else. So that's it. So until Thursday night, for TXN Sports World, this is Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF, Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and always and forever, our First Lady, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days and rest of your week. And until Thursday night for TXN Sports World, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and streaming.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.